Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest Podcast. It's episode 36. My name's HSR.
My name's Chris Chrome.
And I'll be your lady friend, Bonnie.
She will be, as in she wasn't prior to that moment. This album is highly requested. As in, like, an insane amount of requests for this particular album.
Yeah.
Like, probably the most requested album to date, which is crazy. So, Chris, what album is it?
Well, holding for this week's Classic Quest album, we decided to go with MFDOOM's Madvillainy.
Well, it's not really MFDOOM's Madvillainy. It's more like Madvillain's Madvillainy.
Okay.
It's true. That's what it's called.
Madvillain, as I understand it, is one of those hip-hop supergroups, as they call them, where you've got producer
but I'm gonna have to
Mad-Lib.
question you on that throughout the album.
But there's no questioning because
It's by Madvillain.
Madvillain is the artist comprised of rapper MFDOOM and producer Mad-Lib.
Yeah.
Okay.
Therefore, the combined efforts of these two gentlemen.
It's because, like, dude, when we get to
be-
the tracks, when we get to speaking about the tracks, I will explain.
Well,
but
if you're gonna
for
be
me,
like, because MFDOOM keeps
They are
rapping.
mostly
No, it's not about MFDOOM
rapped by
rapping.
MFDOOM
And they are
or one
all
of his
with the
alter
exception
egos.
of the first track, which is co-produced by the two of them. They are all produced by Mad-Lib.
It's true.
Therefore, they're a combined effort. Therefore,
it's like Blue and Exile.
well, yes.
I get you. I'm not.
So therefore,
That's
I
Lauren
get you.
Ryan
It's
Lewis.
just
It's like
yeah,
that.
we
even
will-
to that end, it's clever, right? Because you got Mad-Lib, the Mad, and MFDOOM's the villain. So Mad-Villain.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Clever as fuck.
Yep.
Now, be that as it may, I don't know fuck all about this shit, really.
We have done like the review of MF.
So feel free to,
MF yeah,
to click
exactly.
above my finger, and you will see our MFDOOM review. Woot! So the thing about it is we went... So let's say MFDOOM's album, we did that food, and it was...
It was the first time that I had heard something that was like that.
It was amazing.
So let's say like this is a level 5 album. And
This?
No, food.
Okay.
At the time, we had only done like level 2 albums in our terms of complexity.
Yeah.
And we got wrecked. And the fans of that album, a lot of you who requested this, were very supportive. So far,
Thank
from
you.
what I can tell, 2/3 of you liked it and 1/3 of you hated it.
Thank you.
The general consensus is, so that's what people who don't like MFDOOM feel when they see. Anyway.
Like, it was really the first time. So now we're a little bit more prepared. We have, food under our belts, and we can kind of move
I ate
into
earlier
this.
today, so.
By prepared, we've listened to some more like Wu-Tang was very helpful to listen to and such. Anyway, all I have to say is...
Although they're like... They're helpful in terms of like understanding different metaphors, different.
No, but just the
Like
way
the feel
skits
of
are
them.
put into albums.
Yes.
All of
I still
that,
feel
that
like
stuff.
MFDOOM is there's more meat to what he's saying.
Like I said, like a higher degree. Well, I don't know about more meat per se. Just a
Meat's
different,
not the right word.
a
Meat's not the
different.
right
He
let's
would
say
love that you use meat.
college level. Of
There was
like,
Meat Grinder.
like you can put on Wu-Tang and enjoy it a little more casually. There's not to say one's deeper than there, but it's hard to just enjoy what this MFDOOM guy creates
Well, I think
casually.
it is. I
That's
think
what
it
I'm
is
trying to
again one
go
of those
for. That's
albums
what
that you
I'm
have to
feeling.
listen to all at once because it is kind of like hard to pick and choose because the songs are so short. Like the longest song on here is 4 minutes and it's the last one. All the other ones are like 2 minutes and under.
But I think that's part of. I think that's part of who he is, though. Like when I think about MFDOOM, I've always gone, like we were saying earlier, Dr. Doom character. He's got this whole cartoon feel going with him, and I like how he builds the entire album as like an episode. Like it's like commercials. Like we'll get through the album and I'll explain more into detail. But I think that the skits, and this is something we also agreed on, I think a couple days ago, the skits on these albums, especially for MFDOOM, is very more important than the lyrics. I don't mean lyrics. I mean like the
mix and
songs.
match.
Like on Food, where like half the album there was like 4 skits, but this was a lot of lyrics. Too,
Yes.
I would say that there's no way that I could stand by the claim that the skits are more important than the lyrics on
I
this
don't
album.
want to say more important. I want to say like they're an essential part in terms of.
One track that was entirely skits was really good at contextualizing stuff, which we'll talk about. And aside from that, there was very little skits.
Well, there was more. I guess so. More.
There's
like
a couple of
outros.
little
I think
juxtapositions here and there. Yes, but
fair.
But
enough.
I'm just gonna say this wasn't the best example to throw that statement into.
You're right.
All that to say is we don't know shit all about MFDOOM, Madvillain, or all
As
that.
y'all can see.
I don't know why anyone's trying to talk like they do. I've listened to just that. I haven't even listened to Food in its entirety since we reviewed it, to be honest.
I have.
I put on a couple of the tracks here and there, but like, I'm reviewing at least 2-3 albums a week. I'm freaking slammed with shit all the time. So for me, it was like, sat down, I've been listening to this Madvillain album all week, trying to give it a fair run.
Well, I'm just going to put it in there. Unfortunately, we kind of bombarded you with you guys with this. But if you don't want to listen to the chitter-chatter, y'all can look down in the description, find the song you want to listen about.
You can just click to that.
Yeah.
I like the title Madvillainy because it's fun. It's the kind of title a Madvillain would have made.
Yep.
Like, it's just kind of got that, I think it's vaudeville, old school, cartoony.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like
crazy villain, like
stuff from like the 60s and the 30s, and like there's a lot of old times.
Is it a little bit? I want to say redundant a little bit, just like mad villainy, like the term of like being mad and then being a villain is kind of like the same.
No.
It's like what they do is Madvillain.
And being a villain is not the same thing. You could be a mad hero. That's also a possible thing.
Yeah.
Just like you could be a sane villain. Right? So
I think that it's interesting too because he, the mad part comes from Mad-Lib and the villain,
so
I know
totally
you already said
that earlier.
But,
No, it is interesting. I think it's clever. And I think the part where they didn't even try to come up with a fun name, it was just like Madvillainy. It's just how we do.
And like, there's nothing.
You look at the cover, and the fun part about the cover is, from what I understood, it was done by accident. But the reason there's an orange square in the corner is because they noticed how similar this cover looked to Madonna's Madonna album, and it had orange O's, so they put an orange square to make it kind of look a little bit more and pay homage to what they saw. But it was just apparently a pure coincidence. But yeah, it's just MFDOOM's face with the mask.
Well, yeah.
But I think, I don't know how I guess I was expecting more of the cartoony look for the album in terms of what we were first introduced to.
It was very like metallic and steel and kind of like gritty.
What we were introduced to came after this album. Food is after Madvillain. So, that's why I don't know.
Are you sure Madvillainy came out in 2004?
Yeah, but when you look at the recording process, okay, so fun fact, this album was recorded over 2001 too. Food is 2004, right? So
are you sure?
Because they took like a break because some of their album was leaked.
Like the whole album got leaked unfinished in like 2002, I think it was. So they took a break. They all made a solo project.
They called it 10/11 after after 9/11 because it was the year after.
You were pretty sure that you didn't Google this because this was really right there on the wiki page, right at the parts. So, I mean, pretty sure that happened because this was definitely. I mean, it's possible there were tracks on Food that
No,
were made
honestly,
before,
I have like this vivid image of honestly looking at the Spotify page of Food and seeing like 1990 something. I could be wrong. I'm not.
I saw 2004 on the wiki page today. I don't know. I don't think it's that thing. I'm pretty sure that it came later. It could be whatever. I digress.
I feel like, let me see if I have it.
I mean, this is easily Googleable. So, 1 second, folks. Chris, of course, is going to waste our time by trying to not.
2004. Same thing. November 16th, 2004.
There you go.
Okay.
So, all that to say, Chris doesn't actually Google stuff properly. Let's talk about the first track. And what is it called?
The Illest Villains.
Unlike Chris.
Love to hate. The importance of the villain was not overlooked.
Starts off with a lot of stuff from the 1931 edition of Frankenstein and then some other stuff.
And like right away, like listening to it, like I was like, ugh, and like kind of like caught off guard because
sound that pans back left and right. From each ear.
And like that was cool.
When you're listening to it on headphones, it's so like distorted and trippy, and it just feels like uncomfortable. But like it's good, like like it's obviously like what they're trying to do with this.
And then like it's kind of got like text that sounds like it was said and then like altered, mixed with these clips that they're playing.
Yeah.
And it's really clear what they're trying to accomplish with this. They're basically contextualizing the villains in these movies and just the overall character of a villain as the personification of the evils within ourselves. And it kind of points out that since we love to hate so much, we love to hate the villain, we love to have this character here. And I like how it ends with, perhaps it is due to the seminal connection that audiences can relate their experiences in life with the villains and their dastardly doings.
Yep.
I'm like, man, MFDOOM, it's like, what a way to, like, introduce it. Maybe not him, the whole Madvillainy concept, but it's kind of probably an extension of just Doom's character, an extension, and then villainy coming in. But just to be the bad guy so that you can hate him. It's like, well, that's what he's here for.
Well, is it really hate or is it like? I think, because I like what you said earlier. I got the same feeling that he's giving this like representation that we can relate to the villains. And I think that's what he's also trying to do. Like, he's trying to also show that as much as we think we're good, this is what we're also are in a way, you know? Like,
well, actually, what is said is that they're outlaws, and they say nice boys who happen to be on the wrong side of the law.
Mad-Lib and MFDOOM there.
Yeah,
but,
it's cool.
Just to answer your question, I do think they mean hated, but hated in, like, the notorious sense. Like, it's like the way people love Pablo Escobar. They all hate him, but everyone loves him. Okay. You know, like... It's this infamy. Guy. It's you almost idolize what they were able to accomplish, those parts of your darkness that we are all connected on. And like, I agree that, yes, deep down, you're obviously supposed to like him, but the idea is most people will hate him.
Well, and he's different from, like, the rest of, like,
will love
the good guys, the ones who are, like, popular and, you know, make it. So he's different from them.
And it's got, like, a pretty solid, like, production to it. Like, you can instantly see Mad-Lib's prowess come through, just how... Everything is so perfectly timed and everything. I give this a 4.5. It was a beautiful introduction to this album. It sets the tone nicely, and it's not boring. Like, you listen to it 3-4 times, and it's not one of those skits that kind of gets annoying after a while. It's still fun. It's like to be like Chris with his movie. It's like the opening credits of this movie, this episode that this album's supposed to be.
Yep.
And you can almost picture, and here's where I can see where you're coming from a little bit with the cartoony, but it's not cartoons to me. It's black and white, and it's got
it's kind of it's like how like the
old-timey
school, like
the grainy things.
Welcome to the
it's
show.
Totally live action.
I see that.
It's not a cartoon.
No, I see that. I say cartoon because I got a lot of this. Like when you hear it, I hear a lot of Spider-Man, like old school Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that's where I get a lot of like when I mean cartoon, I just mean that kind of like era. I don't want to like.
I don't want to like the black and white Frankensteins and the horror movies.
I do get that. Yeah.
See, for me, it's just that I don't even see Spider-Man. I'm seeing.
Well, I mean, I think there
movies.
are types like throughout the album. Like he's taking from different years and different types of things that he's taking. So I mean, and this one he's taking from 1931, and then there's other ones where he's taking from like 60s and 70s.
But even in the same one, there is a lot of stuff to list. But if I didn't recognize it, I just ignored it. I recognized the word Frankenstein, so I remembered it, but. Mad-Lib samples so much shit on this album. There's even a video compiling how many samples went into one track. It's insane. But yeah, 4.5. I think it's a beautiful introduction. I mean, it's 2 minutes or so, but you barely notice it. Like, you're almost kind of sad when it ends. Like, it gives you so much to think about. I was pleased.
Nice. I gave it a 4.5 as well. I mean, same thing. I definitely thought it was a good introduction. It was, like, well-rounded. You know, just the way that it was put together, it definitely, like, let you know what was going to happen and who these people were.
Nice. I gave this a 4.515. I thought the same like everyone else. It was really great. It's a great intro. But you know what else it gave me you know what else it made me start thinking of?
No.
Man listens to radio shows. Like, and I mean those radio shows where you would turn it on and it's a whole story for like 3-4 hours. When I first heard this, I was like, let it begin. Let me sit here and listen to this radio story happen.
It's like, before TV existed.
Never listened to one, but yeah, I can see where you're coming. I can picture like people watching TV, like watching a TV show where people listen to it, and that's what it makes me picture.
Nice.
Because I don't have better memories than that.
I remember when the power would go out when we were kids, and we would listen to on the radio Coronation Street because you could listen to the
back
show
then
happen.
Though.
Yep.
I bet a whole bunch of people were playing accordions.
Bet you they were.
Mixmaster ICE Cole, nice to be old. Y2G Steve.
That the beat has an accordion in it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just. I think it would feel weird if it didn't.
Well, no, I think that's how you got the name. So this is
what
I
think
got.
It's just like the back and forth, like the.
You got like this sense that this is how MFDOOM comes around. He sees a beat, whatever is in his head, like flows out onto the paper. There doesn't seem to be like macro concepts to a lot of these songs, meaning that the songs are kind of about something, but it's more like every like line is about something, every bar. And there's a congruency in how the bars flow together, but it's more like a lot of it's kind of like Weezer lyrics is a lot of the way that MFDOOM seems to be writing.
Yeah.
And Rivers Cuomo does the same thing. It's a lot of like weird, isolated thoughts strewn together in a way that gives you the sense of something.
I like that he used like food, like still in like, some of his lyrics, like when he was describing cheese or whatever. And like, I think that's interesting because, I mean...
Oh, hotter than like Doritos. Cheesier than Doritos, Cheetos, and Fritos.
Well, that was a sick one. But like, you get a sense that he loves rhyming. Like, I wrote down a couple of lyrics because it was just hard to explain what I wanted.
ICE cold.
I got, is he still a fly guy clapping if nobody hear it? And can they testify from inner spirit? And it's just like you get this sense that he thinks a lot. Like, he plays on philosophies. Like, he's really well thought out. But then he's also super, like, I don't know, he's got stuff like for half of his blanks till take him out of the picture, the other half is rich, and it don't mean shit to.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Rich or poor, whatever.
Whoa. And it's like this idea that... Because this song in particular kind of has him in the middle. And a lot of his stuff kind of has him representing both sides of the fence as he's kind of...
Okay.
Right, whatever. I've seen the sense of like that comes in. And I really kind of like he just... But you're not really 100% sure. Because he doesn't make it fucking easy for you to make fucking exact sense of it. And I like that. Don't get me wrong. He's not one of those space the fuck out poet types where you can't figure it out. But it's also a little bit open for you to kind of figure out what the fuck you're going to take from. This is one of those few guys where if you were going to be like, well, I totally felt this from how he worded it. Man, if you looked at any of the Genius annotations, half these lines have 4 proposed meanings of what it could be.
Of course. So from what I took from this,
Let's hear it.
It's actually really interesting, and the meaning of the whole, well, the message of the whole song only hit me at the end when he goes, it's like a Freudian slip until you play yourself like an accordion. And I was like, that's where it all hit me. He basically broke down.
Line.
No. He basically broke down throughout the entire track different ways on how you slip up and get played. How people can play you if you're sleeping, quote unquote, if you're not woke, like all the new kids say it.
Sure.
But I really took a sec. I've actually listened to this song multiple times prior to doing the album because this was one of the break down the bars there on YouTube. And it was really cool where he places all the syllables, and there's like phrases where it's all 4 words are identical, like the syllables are identical. It's ridiculous.
I gave this a 5.
Yeah, I gave this a 5.
I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I gave it a 5, but I really do think...
And a lot of it was because of what you were just saying there. I think this is one of the top verses on the album. I don't know that many of the other verses kind of sound a little weak next to this verse. There are some that are its equal.
Yeah.
But this blew me out the fucking water. The way he flows it all so smoothly. Sometimes it doesn't feel like he fits perfect.
You know what?
And this one he fits snug like a bug in a fucking
I think this
rug.
one has more of an honest message to it. I think that's what it is. I've noticed, and again, I will touch more upon this throughout the album, but I've noticed that he likes to make the fictional stories where there's a message behind it. You gotta pick it apart and find the inner message. But he also likes making these serious things. And Accordion itself is very
it also sounds super fucking hip hop in the way that he's
rhyming
it.
Yes. And he's offbeat. I want to say that. He's got this offbeat flow which works.
Most rappers I like that I think are really truly dope are offbeat, to be fair. On-beat rapping to me is kind of
boring
easy.
A little bit.
Not to say that it's that, but it's like it's the offbeat guys who can do the really tricky stuff, and the on-beat guys, I don't know. It's never been as interesting to me as a good offbeat. Like the way Talib Kweli is an example can rip up a rhythm. You're just like, how? He doesn't even see the beat. He just does what he does. And to me, that's what I like. And the way MFDOOM does it is pretty cool. And the way he can just... You know what it is? It's that he's so concerned about maintaining these rhyme flows that he finds ways to express himself using language you're just totally unexpected. Yeah. It's like when somebody drops the word bamboozled, but it leaves you feeling bamboozled, right? And that's...
Yeah.
And that's... Anyway, 5 on 5. This was truly... And the beat doesn't get annoying. Like, it sounds like it might, but it's just such the perfect, smooth flow that you just kind of get into it.
What do you think about the mixing?
I love it.
I don't... Is that his real... Because I've heard him in an interview, and he doesn't sound the same. I think there's a lot of deep tone mixing on his voice.
Well, I think they're all, like, characters that he's creating. Like, this isn't necessarily MFDOOM. This is the character of a Madvillain. And so, I don't know. I mean, I'm certain he could rap like that. I like the mixing.
Definitely.
I like the fact that these songs are short. It's almost like they're not concerned with making songs the way I understand a song to be made.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to remark on a bit earlier. What I had trouble with the first time we touched MFDOOM is I was expecting songs. It's not really that. This is more like punk rock. This is more like the raw expression of what he had to say, the way he had to say it, and fuck your conventions. And I really appreciate that approach now that I was kind of expecting it a little bit.
Nice.
Cool. At the beginning of this song, he mentions Dick Dastardly and Muttley, I believe it is, and that they're kind of like them, that one talks and one doesn't, but like they're like the ultimate like team of like villain type characters.
Like Penn and Teller, motherfucker.
Yeah, and so like that's kind of what they're like, and I thought that was kind of like a cool like play on things. I give this one a 4 on 5. I thought it was great. I thought his like flow was like really free and like it came out so well, and I mean it was pretty cool. I like the accordion. I don't think that it got annoying. I think that also too because
it did not.
Like the song, because it's so short, like it's not going to get annoying because you know it's only 2 minutes long.
True. And then it leads right into Meat Grinder.
Yeah.
Tripping off the beat, kinda dripping off the meat grinder, heat niner, pimpin'.
Okay, so again, this whole like song concept thing is fucking hard. See, I'm the kind of guy that likes a good, clear song concept where it wraps up. No, MFDOOM's not really doing that for me. So it starts off with him like pimping some young chick and then flipping into like how he's like the greatest rapper and shit.
Yeah.
But like,
and that his like lyrics are hype, and then you can like kind of hear that he's like
I know I'm oversimplifying it, and it might be kind of making it sound like a bad thing, but somehow he okay. First of all, the first 30 seconds are track A, and it's this kind of like stranger, which is a good beat. It's not strange, but it's like this good beat, and then it says something, and I could be wrong. I heard the jar is under the bed.
Yep.
And then I didn't know what the fuck that was, but it made me kind of picture like monsters under the bed in this creepy kind of setting. And then he just flips into the track.
Interesting.
And he drops like the first lines or whatever, which is super hype, and he goes into the girl. But there's just a couple.
Off the beat, kind of fresh.
But I think that there's a lot of like drugs involved
and then there's, like,
in this song.
Well, there's a lot of drugs involved in the making of this album.
Yes, that's true. That's true. A lot of mushrooms.
Mad-Lib was like locked up in Brazil and banged out most of the beats in a couple of months. It was anyway, fun stories. So I wrote down shit like borderline schizo, sort of fine tits though, pour the wine, hoard to grind, quarter to 9, let's go. Hey. And you're just like, that's a great example of what he was saying, how he makes everything rhyme. And he just sounds like, he makes it sound too easy. Well, like, he makes it sound Snoop Dogg easy.
You know what?
While doing this trickiness that is way harder than the Snoop Doggy rhymes.
The whole trickiness and the words he uses gives me this feel that he kind of mocks rappers.
I don't know about that.
I don't really see MFDOOM as being like I don't really see MFDOOM being this type of...
I think he's just who he is.
I don't think he's ever been a pimp. I don't think he's ever really killed anybody.
But he's a villain.
No, I get that, and this is the character part of him. But what I'm trying to say with mocking rappers is because a lot of the times you'll hear rappers be like, "Yeah, I got this hoe. Yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm doing that," and he's kind of like
he's doing it all.
He's doing it all as the villain he is, but he's doing it in a way that's not so like, I'm street. Like, he's smart about this, the way he does it.
See, and I don't think it's a matter of mocking rappers. I think he's just doing it better than rappers.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
Because I think he took a really hip-hop approach to how he's going to do it. Look, this dude's lyricism is next level. Like, his writing is something fascinating to me. It might be one of the most interesting lyricists we've come across. I'm not going to say he's the best rapper. I don't actually think that. But when it comes down to just looking at the raw poetry on paper form and trying to dissect that shit, this guy is top tier in terms of what he's able to put down. So when he writes a line like that, it might be a commentary about our society, the way often the Madvillain is a commentary about some things and whatever. So I don't think he's trying to be a pimp.
Well, then,
I think he's trying to put down excellent wordplay to describe situations.
Well, I think even just the title of the song, Meat Grinder, is that meat is raw, and he grinds.
Boom. Oh, that just put me into a whole other headspace when you said meat grinder. I was like, oh god.
Yeah,
but like that's what it is. It's
picture
like raw
Chris,
meat.
Now, I can picture the meat grinder.
And he's a grinding guy. Like he grinds.
No, but
all right,
really,
I'm gonna be the one to say this. He's pimping a girl, grinding meat.
Yes.
Like,
There's also that.
I just got the feeling that it's a sense of like I saw an interview where he's like, I say everything from a position of authority, like in the sense where people told me Rick Ross is mad famous because everything Rick Ross says sounds like he's a boss. Now I'm gonna say that's not true, but everything MFDOOM says kind of sounds a bit like a boss, and I feel like he's kind of portraying lyrics in that kind of theatrical style of way.
Before we get off this, I just wanted to say you when you mentioned something, you were talking about like his villainness and how he's explaining how he does things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of just here like maybe he's not representing what he does, but his society. And he's talking
That's
about
what I meant by the satirical part.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I gave this a 4.5 because I don't like the beat as much. I do find it a little like the intro's kind of cool, but it's not my favorite thing, right? Like we're talking about just little nickels and dimes here at the end of the day. This shit's a near perfect song for me. When it does pick into Doom, it's fucking excellent. The production's still excellent. It's weird how they make these beats that shouldn't be so pleasant to listen to, but they really are. So props.
Well, I'm gonna say defend it, but I don't think you're attacking it. Again, they have this old school TV show, black and white, cartoon type feel, and a lot of those vibes and feels sound the way they sound.
Does it make it more pleasant?
I know. I'm not saying it is, but I feel like I just want to be like in terms of.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. I like this song. 4.5 on 5.
I gave this one a 4.
Okay, that's
Bistro.
all done.
Yeah, I mean, I said everything. I feel like...
Okay, Bistro.
Okay.
How
do you do?
How do you do? Live on the beats. We have the one and only Mad.
So here, we get...
Best thing on the album.
Don't agree. So we get introduced to welcome to the Bistro, which
Hold on. It's Madvillain's Bistro, Bed and Breakfast, Bar and Grill, Cafe Lounge, on the water.
Yes.
They literally have everything at this place.
And it's basically this album, right? So it's a metaphor. Welcome to the album. Allow me to introduce you to the staff, and it turns out it's just all the people who are contributing to the album. But what I really love about it...
It sounds kind of like it's the beginning, but then it's like, now we're introducing it a little bit more.
What I love is that he gives love to the sound engineers and a lot of the background guys who otherwise don't necessarily get real love on the album. So that's particularly cool, and I thought that was nice.
Cool.
I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about this one. It's basically like a minute-long little interlude. There's a few of those, and it's really well placed. It's like you got a couple of hard songs.
But it's also kind of like that they're flossing a little bit. Like, look at this. Like, we like the nice things in life.
Yeah, but
like, check out this bar and grill, lounge,
it's a bit of a
bed
counterbalance to, like, the intensity, right? Because if you do look at it the way a supervillain's world is, yeah, there's the intensity, but there's also, like you were saying, the lavishness. And so I do feel like it's an excellent counterbalance. It's an excellent little break from... Because this style is rugged and rough, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of need a little bit of that smoothness to...
It does sound like there's a harp playing in the background.
It's like cuddling after some intense domination. That's a way to look at this track. I don't know. For me, though, it was a 4.25. Like, it's pretty cool, but I don't know.
What is with these 0.25s?
It's more specific. It's not quite a 4. It's not quite a 4.5.
Okay.
But no. It's not just him. Sid too. Like, it makes more sense. Like,
fair. I haven't seen Sid do it, but Ryan came on and he was like, "I'm giving it a 4.2," and we're like, "How?" And he's like, "Cause it's not a 4.5, but it's not a 4."
I just agree with him.
That's totally fine.
I'm just explaining where this all came from.
It all came from other people that weren't Chris. That's what we learned. Yes. So 4.25 because it's better than him. Like, it's pretty good. Like, it's clever. To quote Chris Chrome, it's creative. But
you know what? We're gonna make that into
Sure. But anyway, go on. Somebody else.
You want to go?
You go.
I like this song. I like this interlude. Actually, I got a little hyped up earlier saying it's the best. I'm saying it's really good because I like, again, how he placed it in the album. for me, a lot throughout this album, it's a lot about the placement and how the songs flow in together. Because, again, I'm listening to the radio show, I'm watching the television show, and he's basically got scene 1, and now he's finally doing the intro theme song now, which happens to be a nice casual dinner with everything you need.
Bistro.
Right.
You can
Bistro.
have dinner at the bistro.
Yes, thank you. But, no, I really thought this was creative. I thought that this was a good tone setter, and it also gave me a feel like maybe the first 2 tracks, they were supposed to be like maybe an older Doom. And now this is like a newer Doom, like we're starting the new episode on a newer step, kind of like previously on Doom, and now, like something like that. I got that type of feel. So
I didn't really get that type of feel.
Well,
I mean, I do feel like this served as your title credits, but I just felt like we just got introduced to the Madvillain, and now we're gonna get into the meat of the episode. It's kind of like that opening scene in Sherlock where he first shows off his fucking Sherlock powers for the first time. And then you cut into the cutscenes, and then the story really starts. So I guess you could call it like the overture of the album was delivered in the beginning, if that's the right way to describe it. I think I'm misusing overture here. Anyway, what'd you give it?
I gave this one a 3.5. I liked it. I kind of feel like what they're saying, like in like the the big title is that this is what they are. They're a little bit of everything. Like they're your bistro, they're your bar, they're your B&B. Like they're a little bit of everything all in one, and like that's just what they're presenting. And then like everyone else said, like they're presenting the people who worked on the album. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, let's go on a raid.
All right.
Flow, he need to cut the ego. Tripping to date the metal fellow, been ripping flows since New York.
I don't like the beat for this one as much.
What?
I'm not.
It sounds like you're in like a jazz club.
Right, but this isn't my favorite. I know I'm supposed to like jazz, and like every time I say I'm not the biggest fan of jazz, people give me fucking looks and shit.
It's okay, you're allowed.
But I'm not the biggest fan of jazz,
Yes,
so like when it's kind of on the slower Xaner side of shit, I'm okay with it. This is more like that upbeat, pluggity plug shit, and I'm like, okay. Now Doom kills his part. Like I actually love the way it starts. How Doom whole heat and preach non-violence. He about to start the speech. Come on, silence. Like you just get this feeling like boom. He's again a walking contradiction of sorts, and he plays through this whole thing where like he establishes himself again as like a top tier lyricist. Like he knows his confidence just oozes. Like he knows what the fuck's up.
Yeah.
He goes through, and honestly, I don't want to like sound redundant. So a lot of this review, I'm gonna be like, Doom kills it on the rhymes. Like consistently kills it on the rhymes. He does it really well here. I do feel like this beat was a hard one, and he makes it again sound natural. Then we have our first featured guest, who happens to be Med. And he was pretty good. A little more fluid, a little less like his Doom's a little jagged with it.
He was talking more about like drinking and drugs and stuff like that.
Oh man, I love this one. Haters watch him, Hennessy double shot drink, like the answer to the problems at the bottle's bottom. And you're just like, whoo. And it just kind of shows that people are using this kind of substance abuse to escape and blah, blah, blah. And then there's jealousies and stuff. I mean, haters. And what's really interesting is how long the word haters been around. Just throwing it out there.
That's true.
Like you hear it so often in the past.
It wasn't just Taylor Swift that came up with it.
Yeah, but haters gonna. Anyway, I stay out too late. I didn't like this one as much, mostly because of the beats. Lyrically, it's pretty sound, but I don't know. The way Doom rhymes, it's a lot more like a line by line level.
But MFDOOM in this one even says don't steal from him, and like that's what happened to him. And like I don't know if he wrote this before or after, like he put this verse in, but it goes to show like people are stealing from him. Literally, they stole this album. And you know,
they were saying how like they were doing shows and like trying to promo the album, and people were like walking up and being like, yo, he heard it, it's great. And they're like, yo, it's not even finished yet.
Yeah.
It's
messed. That's fucked up.
I don't know, I give it a 4 because the rhymes is impeccable, but when you don't feel the beat, you just don't feel the beat.
I like the beat. I really enjoyed the different sound. It wasn't as grungy. It wasn't as raw. It felt a little bit more smoother on this beat. Somewhat static. You can hear some changes in the tempo. You can hear some changes in
the tempo?
Yeah, in the tempo a little bit in the beat.
Speed of the song?
Yeah, of the beat. The beat. I'm talking about the beat. I haven't gotten into those lyrics yet. The beat itself.
You're saying that the speed of the song changes.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, no, that's tempo.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. Not tempo. Ah, crap. My bad, guys. No, but I guess there's no. The tempo of certain sounds that speed up and slow down have really caught my ear on the track, and I really enjoyed that
Mad-Lib.
infuse. Great production, basically. The lyrics, again, he's super lyrical. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to play with syllables. He knows how to run these phrases. But I just felt like this was just him again, not idolizing, but bringing to light that he's a really good rapper, really good lyricist, that he's got skill, that he's got this. MFDOOM alone. I didn't really feel much about this whole party type, let's do drugs, let's do this type feel.
I didn't feel that either.
But clearly Med is all about let's turn up and let's have some fun.
No, I don't think it was let's turn up. I think this is what people are doing, like it's an escape or like it's a solution.
It makes me think that like maybe like he has
like
a problem
I feel
or like
it's more of a commentary on what's around them as opposed to let's celebrate. Well, yeah, they still partake per se, but it's more of an introspective, like it's introspective. There's a lot of this music, as much as it has the bravado, is highly like you're inside of his head. It's very stream of consciousness music. Like you're just kind of picturing like there's not a lot between the thought and the lyric. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I give this a 3.5.
I give this a 4.
All right. I do happen to think America's Most Blunted is quite the experience.
Yes.
You start sleeping, catching you off guard. We rhythm now, huh?
If you're all down.
So, fun fact.
America's Most Blunted.
Quasimoto is just Mad-Lib with a pitched voice. Holy shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, a little bit of research, Chris. A little bit of research goes a long way.
Yeah. It does.
This is basically the weed song.
This is not just the weed song. I have heard one song that justified drug use better than this. Weirdly enough, by Fat Mike and the NoFX crew kind of put it together. It was off of their like musical that they did. Yeah, they did a musical. It's cool. It has a great soundtrack. I haven't seen it, but it kind of put it better. But this song wasn't just like about weed.
It wasn't promoting
it was more,
to do it.
Like you can
it's
hear
well
them
known.
getting high.
It's well known that the use of drugs is going to make you feel more creative, expand your mind, and help you produce some dope-ass shit.
Which is what they say.
And that's more what the song is doing.
True.
And
then you got crazy lines like, recent research shows it's not so darn harmful. True.
And that people people smoke weed, and the number one enjoyment of smoking weed is having sex, and the number two enjoyment
is music.
Is listening to music.
And then
so like that really like opens up your mind to all of that.
I also really, really dig the part where he's like, sometimes you might need to detox. It can help you with your rhyme flow and your beatbox. Like saying sometimes take a little break because it's not good to go all the time. You
can
need
hear
to
them like with like a bong and like smoking.
I like the part where he basically brings up the parents and how like parents are always like, don't do drugs and don't do this. But it's kind of inevitable that everyone has a drug addiction, regardless of what it is.
Well, that's a little more Quasimoto's verse, no?
I just said the part. I didn't state the artist.
Yeah, but I wanted to say it just before we... Sorry, I know I'm stealing this a little bit, but it was... I laughed. Do you know why Quasimoto raps on this song?
Why?
Because Doom disappears. And you can hear this little part where Quasimoto's like, yo, where did Doom go? It's his part. I'm like, and then he comes in and does that verse. Honestly, like, Doom kind of got high and like, left in the middle of the record.
Because people just don't know.
Sorry.
Like, he does just, like, disappear. And, like, in real life, like, he does disappear and, like, go off and do whatever he does. And nobody knows what he does.
Yeah, that was, apparently, he did all the beats for the second album. And then Doom disappeared and nobody knows what happened.
Yeah, he just does that.
And anyway, I like this track. It had an insane amount of samples. I'm going to link below. There's a 15-minute video going into the samples that were used into this song, so I'll put that below. Holden, who's editing, remember that. And then...
I like the part at the very end where they're like, Mara, and it's like
See,
the
that was
xylophone.
the only part I didn't like.
I
didn't quite understand that part.
But, like, they fuck up and they don't spell marijuana properly because they're just that high.
And like
and they go Mara, one, Wanna.
It's kind of like if you're like training kids or something. It's kind of like got the like just.
It's like the Sesame Street thing where they're taking parts of the syllables and putting the word together.
And then you're learning how to spell it.
But they're high and they mess up and they put like too many A's in it. And
I gave it a 4.5. I think it was fucking like I've never heard a weed song that I thought was so impressive in my life. In terms of like literally it wasn't ignorant and I don't know. Didn't they like each of their verses was about the other one?
No, that's what I was trying to touch upon. I guess it's Quasimoto, but the part of Quasimoto's verse, or at least one part of the song, they're starting to talk about how like everyone has a drug addiction and everybody's got some way to take the pain away. And when I started thinking about it, I was like, America's most blunted, and it's like now I'm starting to look at America as a whole and like how they see America and how they're seeing their societies, and I'm kind of like, look, it's true. It's true. And the part where they're like, your parents tell you not to do drugs, but they're doing drugs, whether it's prescribed or not. I was just kind of like, it's really a main part in everyday life that we don't really want to acknowledge.
And then if you think about it, just to go and start further, if we know that the villains are what we hate the most in ourselves
and they're
society,
America's most wanted,
then they're America's most blunted. It's like saying that they are the most blunted of all the Americans on top of it all.
I guess
I'm just Snoop Dogg's in the country, guys.
But I gave this a 5 on 5.
Nah, man, it's a 4.5.
I liked everything
part at the
about
end
this.
with the xylophone really irritated me a bit. And that's part of the song. Look, for me, when you do this skit stuff, I get that it creates that theatrical part of it. That doesn't mean that I personally have to enjoy every theatrical move you make.
Fair.
That's true.
Fair. I'm along on the ride. I'm enjoying it.
I give this one a 4 on 5. I mean, I thought it was good. I'm never really a big fan of like these like weed songs, but I did find this one like funny and cute and honest, I guess.
I guess you could say it was a sick fit.
It was.
Chris, this was the commercial break. The commercial break was this instrumental track.
I guess so, if that's what this was. I mean, it was short. It was 122, and there was just
because we were in the episode and Chris has been here, and it's like time for the commercials. So here's this little instrumental.
It was just beat, and there was like no lyrics, and it was just like so like repetitive and kind of boring.
This is just a paying homage to what Rakim and Eric B did, and what Public Enemy did.
See, I don't know if that was entirely true. See, yes, on the one hand, it was to give the beat a chance to shine, but I feel like as you were talking about so eloquently with placement and stuff, we've had a bit of story now. We've had a couple of things happen.
I wasn't finished, but go on, please.
Well, I was trying to introduce this as the commercial, and then you started interrupting me in the beginning, so
fair.
Fuck off. And then, so yeah, and that's kind of how I saw it. And first of all, this beat is sick. I already pictured rhymes in my head hearing it. I played it twice. I played it a third time because it's a minute, so it's easy. And it's one of those, but like, it's almost like he made this beat, didn't know what else to do with it, and then they just stuck it on.
Fuck it, and he just put it on.
But really, what I like about it is you get the couple of blunt attacks of doom, and then you get to chill for a quick second here and lay back and have this little advertisement play or something, and the smoothness.
Well, they're
or they're now dastardly creeping along together, but something's happening. You can just picture them about to commit a crime.
Man, you got the sneaky sneak. I literally just thought they were doing. It was one of those like montages. I literally got this as, oh, this is the montage part where they just kind of live their everyday life for a couple of days until smack something happens. Nice.
I didn't go that far. I literally took this as a commercial break.
I don't know. I just found it to be like repetitive. I mean, like there was no
imagination.
I don't know. For me, like it just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't really anything.
It was a beat. It was an instrument.
Drop a fire beat.
But it wasn't
4.5 on 5 for
relax yourself.
No, this was a dope ass fire instrumental. It didn't even need lyrics. It was that good.
4 on 5.
And you?
2.
Oh, fuck off. All right, let's talk about rainbows.
Please enlighten me on...
Amazing song. Fucking awesome. I loved it. First of all, okay, it all makes sense.
I like the beat to this one. I really did.
The way he sings this and he delivers this, you're not expecting him to... That's how we got... You're just like, okay. Anyway, but the lyrics are fucking dope because it sounds great. It sounds like when Eminem tried to sing back in the day and it was bad but good at the same time. So he has that perfectness to him. And then it's like it starts off with like, you best watch out till you be fresh out of clout. So the whole song is about a guy who's snitching from the perspective of the guy who's snitching, looking around the hood and realizing, oh shit, if they find out about me, I'm over. People aren't going to commit crime around me. I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm going to be ostracized by the community. And then when you look at the chorus, it's like he's wondering if they know, but they do. And then when he's drinking Drano, so they're poisoning him, he's having these hallucinations and he's seeing rainbows. And
like they're saying that he's like expendable. So like he's easily to like, you know, he can be gotten rid of, and it's not gonna like be a big deal.
And they call him a rat. Like this is clever.
But the rat could also be like rat poison if that's what they're.
Well, that's what I think was the double entendre that they were dropping. It was well done, and it just shows that like, well, first of all, there's a hook. Like the only hook on the album might be here. I mean, there might be another one, but I like this a lot. 4.5 on 5. Like it's not perfect. But it's a fucking great listen. It is truly, like, unexpected in the middle of this album. And now, I don't know how it fits the narrative, but it was still a great track.
Yeah, I really like this one. I give it a 4.5 on 5. I like that there was, like, again, like, you know, lots of, like, the old school stuff that was going on, like, at the end. It was slow, and like his voice was like kind of like he was on drugs or whatever he was on, or like he's just talking as if he's on Drano, I guess. But hopefully not.
Like he's been poisoned and he's like figuring it out now.
Like he's kind of like slow, like you're in like a warped kind of situation. But I really like this one. It sounded good.
It was good. And then he had this.
The beat was nice. It was different. The entire song is completely different. 3.5 on 5. I honestly don't have much to say about it. It's not bad. It's good, but
I gave it a 3.5. Therefore, it wasn't bad. Okay, fine. Let's talk. Look, it's a long album review. Let's not waste time. Curls is the next one.
Curls.
Laying right there in the street. Now let's try and get something to eat. Then he turned 4.
Everyone else loved the elevator music. Like, it's just pretty much the happiest elevator music ever. Yeah. On top of that, this song was fucking cool. So what I got from this, and again, internet, feel free to correct us if we're wrong the whole way through. We're ignorant sometimes. But what I took from this is, so to quote Chris, what I felt was that Doom made it clear that he's after the money, and the rest of the track is kind of contextualizing his past a little bit so you can understand why he's after the money. Because he's got lines like, Spliff made him swore he saw heaven when he was 7. Yup, you know what, growing up too fast. Showing up to class with Moet in a flask. He asked the teacher if he leave, will he pass? His girl is home and he's trying to get the... And then he doesn't say the word. He has like a... And then it like flows in again. And I chose that one specifically because I wanted to comment on the fact that Doom has these theatrics that he does sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like, I know there's one point where he deliberately doesn't drop the B word, and he was a little classy with it. And because the Madvillains are always just a little classy with it. Anyway.
Yeah. And they're not complete savages.
So, I dig the way he rhymes it. I dig the fact that you get this contextual thing. It's a minute and a half, and it's just like this verse, and I like the way he's rhyming. Like, he
gets money, like, just as much as he gets girls. And, like, you know, with one comes the other. And there he goes. And he's happy to enjoy that. And he gets girls like, he gets money like girls, and they have necklaces like pearls.
And he catches nuts like squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever happened in Rainbows, that's the part of the whole cinematic movie I didn't get. But now I got Doom chilling in an elevator, talking to somebody about money and explaining to this guy, this is how I am. This is me. This is what I do. And this is how I work. And this is how business is going to go once we get to wherever.
But I think he's also saying that he maybe was stealing a little bit. From people, and that's how he got his money.
He's still doing what he's got to do.
Maybe he's stealing girls. I
think that he's just trying to establish that he comes from a background where, like a lot of other rappers,
he had to steal to get by. He
does what he has to do, but instead did it MFDOOM style, which was
that's
obscure
what I'm
as
saying.
fuck.
I like how instead of having to be super savage and in your face about it, he's kind of. I get what you're saying. To touch upon the whole deep voice thing, I like him how he's calm. He's very calm. He has that aggression, but it's not there.
No, but he's laid back the whole way through the album.
Yeah, but you get that aggression vibe.
What you're looking for is authoritative. He stands like he's in command with every line that he's dropping.
That's the
but
word.
It's not aggression.
That's the word.
The guy just sounds like more like a mafia don who's calm and composed, and with one sentence can say what takes another person like me 20 sentences.
Me 20 sentences.
You 100. Anyway, ultimately I dug the track, but I gave it a 4 because the beat wasn't really as much for me. And again, for a lot of these tracks, it's like the beat really, how much I like it is determining how much of a grade I'm giving it. Because Doom is consistent as fuck.
4.
I gave this one a 3. I'm always a low grader.
It's okay. Do not fire.
Here we have some noise. That's basically what this one is.
Well, it's another instrumentalist track with some more juxtaposition. It kind of...
And it has like that mixing thing again with the headphones. It kind of goes back and forth when I was listening to it. And I was like, okay, I like that. I enjoy the production of that.
You kind of get the sense that he's like moving along and there's stuff happening and maybe he's fucking at one point of this. Kind of has some like moaning-ish kind of sounds, laughing.
Yeah.
Something that is fun is happening. It's called Do Not Fire. I kind of like the name. I'm not really sure what to do with this one, though. I don't like it as much. I mean, I get its point, but I gave it a 3 because I don't think I'd listen to it again. I really like the other one.
I'm the other way around because, I mean, I like this one more because it just felt like there was more involved in it. And, like, as much as it was and it was mixed, like, I gave the last instrumental a 2. I'm giving this one a 2.5. So, I mean, it's not...
Still gave both of them higher.
Yeah, I know. It's still not the best, but, hey, it's a passing grade.
In Quebec. Did you guys know the passing grade in Quebec is 60%? Where's your passing grade? Tell us.
Yes.
Let us know. So, did you...
Yes, everyone.
Yeah, 2.5. It was good.
So, you know how we were in the elevator and Doom was setting shit straight? Something popped off in the main office. This is where I'm at now with this song. It's something's going on and they don't want it. Somebody comes in and is like, don't fire, don't shoot. Obviously there's a standoff going on. There's some beef that's about to happen there's some whatever. That's kind of what I got in this cinematic little thingy.
It's possible.
Okay.
I put this beat at 3.5. It's not bad. It's just it's only a beat.
It's okay. Let's talk about that money folder.
Yep.
What money folder?
G, one black, one Spanish, one Chinese. It keeps the woody shiny around like.
This one starts off with, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. After you whose last is doom, he's the worst known. That'll have your boom blowing, or even the first bone rocket to the worst clone, or just curse the throne." And it's just like, poof! It just starts off like fucking hard. I also noted that right before the end of the first little break, he goes, "Did an old jazz standard," and then literally there's an old fucking jazz standard that just starts playing, like a proper one that flips in. And then he just has shit like, "Don't sign me, I'm about to get a mill without him. Crowd him off the shelf, he's the villain, what about him? So, and he's a jerk, and you don't know him. Matt, how he expand work, but won't show him." And yeah.
Oh, well, like, they won't sign, like, he doesn't want to go with, like, a big...
label.
With a big label, but like Mad-Lib has his own label, and I think that's like awesome that he's able to like not go for like like the big time
and you
like
know what?
names.
I looked up his MFDOOM's net worth, and it's at $1 million. He got that $1 million.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I mean it makes sense. Of course he did. I hope so.
But the idea though is that here we have this like artist, and this whole song is kind of like how he is on that paper chase. And he's doing what he's got to do, but he's staying authentic with it. And
the MF stands for money folder.
And I like it. I like this track, but I give it a 5. I think that it is possibly one of the most impressive. Like, there were more little lyrics that caught my eye. So I guess one of the things I was looking for is how many of these lines caught my eye or really impressed me. And this one just was full of it.
Well, I like how, again, like, they kind of go back and forth between the ears and they say stereo, and, like that's the whole point of it.
That
like,
was cool.
Like, it sounds cool.
That was super cool.
I mean, I don't necessarily love jazz, but this beat was pretty fucking impressive. And I have to say, it's a 5. It's a beautiful fucking banger off this album. I really appreciated it.
Nice.
I don't have a lot more to comment. Doom is sick.
He makes money doing evil deeds, you know, like making music, like making mad beats, making, like, I don't know, killer beats, like all these bad things. I guess that's what he does. And, like, he gets all these ladies and he makes all his money, and this is what he does. And, you know, this is what it is. So it's a 4 on 5 for me.
I feel like I may have gotten another type of message.
Sure.
I get that it's about money. That was very clear. But I feel like the first verse, Doom is explaining how he's kind of like about the music, and he's on that paper chase, but he's more for like soulful about the music and spitting the illest rhymes and having a beatbox around in a boombox and doing all this stuff. And then when we go into the second verse, I feel like he's now made the money, and now he's kind of explaining like how money changes things. Now it's like you have to go for labels, but you don't want to. But like, you know, you want to invest and you want to make money, you want to get that. So I kind of got like he's still chasing that money folder, but you have to also know which one. Like sometimes you got to change the folder. That's kind of what I got. You have to know when to give up one to go for another on a proper opportunity. So
I don't know. It felt like make money or die kind of like situation. But for you, it's like he's like, you know, growing.
Well, it's still make money or die, but like sometimes you have to drop an opportunity for something that's better for you, and it's knowing that being able to know,
which is interesting because like that's kind of what he did do, like when he like made this like super group, you know, of them, and you know, while he's still working on his own project, so he's kind of like, well, which one does he do, you know? So it's interesting.
But I gave this one a 5 on 5. It was phenomenal. The beat was great, greatly produced.
Mad-Lib's dope. You know what else is dope?
Shadows of Tomorrow.
Quasimoto.
Once upon a time, it's past yesterday.
I think this is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know how to describe it.
I saw that.
But the lyrics start off with, today is the shadow of tomorrow. Today is the present future of yesterday. Yesterday is the shadow of tomorrow. The darkness is the past of yesterday. Basically, it goes from there and somehow never gets boring. It's a mind fuck, and it just kind of like starts, it makes me at least question things like actions and consequences and time and the impact of things. And then because he's mentioning stuff like Raw and whatnot, I start picturing aliens and other such shit like that. Really? Well, yeah. There was a little bit of a UFO vibe to this track.
Yeah.
And then the beat was just that do-do-do-do-do. The way it was all done, it was just so fucking like eloquently put together. Like I feel like you just get like in the story, I got hit with the ray gun of like whatever the Madvillain thing, and I was sent out of the time continuum.
Well, there's a lot of like
into,
philosophy
like, floating in it. But yo, it was deep, man. It was like, and then I love the fact that in verse 1 we get Quasimoto, who's Mad-Lib, and then Mad-Lib just drops the effect and becomes Mad-Lib for verse 2. So it's like he featured himself on the same track with two personalities while doing the same thing, and it worked out so fucking well. This is a clear fucking 5 to me. Like, this is literally the to me the best song on the album. It sent my head through spins.
But you're missing at the very beginning of like the album, like they say it in like Chinese, Japanese, I don't know what language they say it in, but like what they say is who cut down the cherry tree. And like it's interesting because like that's like the famous tale of like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington. I don't know, I'm not American. And it's a philosophy of him. And you know, and he said, no, it was me, I'm sorry, I cannot tell a lie. And so, like, that's kind of, like, what he's saying, like, that he's totally honest in everything that he's doing. So I thought that was kind of, like, an interesting, weird sort of bit that was added into it. And, like, it is true. It's, like, the shadow falls behind where the sun shines. And so, like, even, like, your shadow is, like, your past. And, like, you can't escape it, almost. It's, like, it's interesting. And then, like, you can't... Like that. Yeah, and so it's interesting. It's, like, searching for tomorrow, but, like, you know, like, the past is still trailing behind you. And so, I don't know, it sounded a little bit like philosophy to me. Like, you know, like this is what they were thinking about. It's very interesting.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, it's the same direction I went into how you were talking about the shadow as your past, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you said trapped in your past, or
no, but
like you're trying to escape it.
It's like right behind you, and it's like it's hard to like get away from it. It's always there.
Okay, good. That's where I would say that I got from this is that people are trapped in their past experiences, and they have a hard time letting go of the past to look at the future to see what it is, because they always feel that, well, if I do this, the same result that happened yesterday is going to happen today. And that's the type of mentality that I feel that they're trying to acknowledge in this song, because even for me too, sometimes I don't want to do certain things because of things that like an experience that happened 3 years ago, and I can also relate in not being able to let go of certain things in my past. And I think,
well,
I think that's what I got from this song, that we live in this loop of constant fear but hope, but fear but hope for the new day, but we're scared because we're afraid of our past experiences, and it's just
right.
It's just we need to let go.
Consequences of actions and timelines and space and stuff. How did you give it? 5? That's like it's a 5 on you.
3.5.
Not a 5.
3.5.
Anyway,
I thought it was interesting.
It's okay.
So
Bonnie
let's
needs
talk
Operation
about
Lifesaver,
aka mint test / hashtag humorous.
Can I get you a drink? This one's a shoe-in. Awkward situation that I'm on a mission to ruin.
And then MFDOOM hit us with a track that has the serious subject matter we need to address here.
Do you tell the girl that her breath is bad?
And how do you get a mint into her mouth? Because that's really what this song's about.
And
I feel like
And he talks about like crest, and he talks about like other things. Like she's got bad breath.
Like it's in her own best interest. It's less stress. Hit her with the "Do you need a mint test?" It don't matter if she's slim or dressed to impress. I won't rest. Fellas don't fest. Some of them just need to eat the whole thing of crest. And the whole song is literally like
he doesn't want to offend her. Like he wants to be like, oh,
he wants to fuck her,
but
he doesn't want to piss her off to get. Basically, the whole concern is how do I be like, girl, I need you to eat this mint, or I can't stick my dick in you, and I want to stick my dick in you, but I don't want to turn you off by saying your breath stank.
But I don't. Okay, clear. That is the clear message of this song.
So what did you get from it?
Okay, good. Thank you, Bonnie. What I got from this is that when you look past the whole literal message,
bad breath.
I like how he talked about, I don't really care if she's attractive or not. The fact that her breath smells is something that is a turnoff to me. And I kind of took it as like there's more to somebody than their physical appearance. And that's what I got from this. It's like he wants to be there.
So they're not their physical, but like.
Well, for example, I know some. I have some
he's
friends.
Coming from.
Like, I just know some people where they would. For me, if you have bad breath, I would have to make it known, or I have to find a way to do it just to acknowledge it, not to be mean. But it's like, hey, if it's bothering me. I think
what it's trying to address is like, you know, and then to take that one step further, it's how many guys would still fuck the girl with the bad breath and not said anything just to bang a hot girl.
Thank you. That is
saying, like, at the end of the day,
yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, miss, but like you could be the finest dime ever, but your breath smell bad, and that's a problem.
But see, I don't want to.
I just want to say I empathize. Have you ever been in a moment where a girl tried to kiss you and it's rotten smelling? I'm not talking about regular bad breath. I'm talking about something died. I'm not talking about like a tooth is literally rotten.
Listen, let's give
you a visualization.
We're going to get comments on comments.
Look, for ladies, if a dude has a rotten smelling mouth, for gay people.
Do you tell
anybody?
The person
I've been flat out told.
Want to sleep with? Do you tell them, like, if their breath is rank?
Fellas,
do you say
I read a fascinating article. Keep a baby wipe up in your bathroom and it solves a lot of problems for the missus when she comes over for the random encounters. Baby wipes. Magical things.
Anyways.
I gave this track a 4.5 on 5. I thought it was funny. It really made me laugh. I thought it was clever. I thought the fact that he managed to bang out that long on this subject and really take you on this journey with him.
A minute 30, like it's not that long.
Yeah, but it's still like you
spend a minute 30 thinking about how to tell him his breath smells.
I just tell him.
Anyway, point
good
track, fun song, enjoyed it. 4.5.
I gave it a 3.
Baby wipes.
I gave it a 4
for the lady parts.
Oh,
I like to think that there's a little bit more than the direct message to this song.
You were right. We agreed with you.
I'm just making it clear.
So what's your score?
I gave it a 4 on 5. 4.
And Bonnie, what did you give it?
I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3. I already told you.
Okay, Figaro.
Hot chocolate, chart topper, start shit stopper, be a smart shopper, shot a cop day around the way.
So there were 2 parts I wanted to like quote, but they were right next to each other, so I'm just going to quote them together.
Okay.
So just read the verse.
Do not stand still, boast your skills, close to no krills, toast for po nils, post no bills, coast to coast, Joe smos, flows, ills, go chill, not supposed to overdose, no dose pills. Like, what the fuck? That is amazing. But then it got better, because I thought it was done. No. Off Pride Tykes talk wide through Scar meet. Off sides like how Worf rides with Starfleet. Now I wanted to explain that last part because it was super clear. See, the Federation...
Wait, are you Star Trekking right now?
The Federation and the Klingon Empire are at war with each other. And Worf gets kind of like banned from the Klingons.
Thank you, Orville. I understand.
So as he's riding with the Federation, it's almost like if he was a Crip and he's riding with the Bloods. That's why that line is so fucking good, because he was like offsides, like how Ruff rides with Starfleet. Woof, fire, Star Trek. Like how else could it be good? Like it was sick, man. Overall, the track is a gain. Like it starts off with some super intense piano and then flows into the calmer beat. For me, it's another 4.5. It's fucking great rhyming. It's really fun, insanity, etc., etc. But, like, there were a couple of tracks here that blew my fucking mind. This one didn't blow my mind. It was just really good. So that's why it's not a 5 along with the previous ones I was giving 5 to. Ultimately, really like it. I don't have a lot more to add than how dope what I previously said was.
All right. For me, I took, like, the Figaro part because that's, like, a Mozart thing. As, like, his music is going to be classic and is going to be, like... You know, it's going to be great, and it's going to, like, have that, like, same sort of, like, lasting, like, appeal. As well, I'm like, Raekwon made the use ice cream equal sex, and Doom says that he wants ice cream without the commitments. So, I think that he just wants it. And then, like, there's another line. Hold on. Because
we did check it over there, only built for Cuban links. We reviewed that and learned about ice cream, so you can click up there.
Yeah. And because she only let him stick the head in. And so there's that. So I think that, like, he wants that ice cream, if you know what I mean. Okay. Because apparently I don't know. That's just what I got from it. I'm just trying to figure this out here.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 3.5.
I don't get the track.
Okay.
For me, this was bars. Even when I read it, I was like, and I'm understanding now your whole... one-liner thing.
Every fucking song is that.
Yeah, and that's where I think that's where I'm starting to have a little bit of an issue because I'm trying to like.
There's no issue for me, man, because this is like.
But okay. It's not. Hold on. It's not like a problem. It's just
maybe
sometimes.
As a reviewer, I have a problem with it, but as
I'm
a
just
fan,
there like, okay, where does this tie in? Where does this? And it's just like.
It's not that kind of track.
Right. I know.
Allow me to say it again. Coast to coast, Joe smells, flows ill, go chill, not supposed to overdose, no dose pills. Who the fuck cares? He could be literally saying anything, but the way he's saying it at this point is so eloquent. It's like, it is better than Hot Women. Like, I don't care how you, like, sorry if that was rude or anything. It is just the fucking, this is sex in, like, lyrical form, is how eloquently these rhymes are put together. Anyway, I'm a little excited. It was very good.
A little aroused right now, guys.
So what'd you give it?
I gave it a 3.5.
I know what you gave it, but Chris?
I gave it a 4.
All right, let's talk about the hardcore hustle.
All right.
Take verbalistic leaps to the next purge. Concoct dope poetical excerpt. Who's the expert? Wow.
All right, so I'm going to throw it out there one time. Wildchild is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this verse.
I got a slam poetry type feel from this.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he held firm with the commitment to rhyming that MFDOOM has put on this album.
Yeah.
Because
but I also wonder if, like, these people, like, if they're being featured, like, if they expect to be, I mean, this song is 1 minute and 22 seconds. So I would just wonder if they're, like, kind of, like, if they're happy that they're, like, getting, like, this, like, you know, minute of fame, or if they're only getting, like, just that short amount of time and to, like, make an impact and, like, let you guys know what they're all about.
I feel like this guy's verses, he kind of, like, addresses. He's like, I'm using this to get more. I want to be here on this verse.
Didn't he, like, repeat, like, Madvillainy a bunch of times?
Because he
he gets strangled by the mic at the end.
I think
by MFDOOM.
I think he's like a character in the story interacting. So whereas you thought, as we were talking off camera before, it was a matter of part of it. No, I think this is like in the way on the Guar album, there were just characters who would like interact that were sung by other people. This is more of a character who's interacting with the Madvillain thing. Anyway, that's why he says it a bunch of times. I like how at the end he's like, intervals in the shape of a mic get pushed straight through your heart, like. And then it just gets fucking acted out at the end, and that's how the song ends.
So he gets like strangled by like this like microphone or whatever
pushes
from
the mic
MFDOOM.
through his heart.
Yeah, and I thought it was strangled. I'm sorry, but then it sounds like he's like
having an orgasm.
Yeah,
because the music's passing through his heart, and it's that good.
Oh, I just thought it was because I honestly I didn't hear I didn't get that he was like being stabbed. I thought that he was like being strangled, and then I was thinking of like that whole like where you strangle yourself and then you come. So like that's what he was going through. I don't know. That's just what I assumed.
I question where your brain goes sometimes.
That's okay.
It's a 3 on 5.
For me, it's a 4.
It's a 4.
It's like it's a little less good than MFDOOM, so it can't be as good. I'm sorry. He's great, but he's not like super great. Next up, I believe, is A Wonderful Song.
Strange Ways.
It's a wonderful song.
My friend, I call them strangers. Anybody talk to them end up in some danger.
We discovered that the label that's putting out these videos has fun contests, and you can find a fan-made music video to this if you're really
And they're
interested.
pretty good.
They are.
And I think that's an awesome way to interact with your friends.
We actually had to Google, is this official? Is this the real? So that's how good they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, Strange Ways is oddly political.
Yeah.
Direct and to the point.
Yep.
And that first verse is fucked up. Like, it's like from the perspective of a cop who has to like deal with the first verse. There's one.
I'm saying
anyway,
a perspective of a cop, but I also think it's also the
crime.
perspective of the drug dealer as well.
I don't think so. I think it's about the perspective of the cop having to deal with things like drug dealers. So yes, you're getting the do or die reality of the drug dealer that gets presented in the second half of the verse, but it's the cop going, holy shit, that's what I'm up against. So it's the cop putting himself into the minds of these people that he has to go and obstruct their dealings and like be like, so you have a starving guy coming at it, and I as the policeman have to actually put my life in the mind, and it kind of trying to contextualize why they're so trigger happy, why they're so the way that they are, because this is what the cop is thinking as he's putting himself into these positions day in and day out. At least that's how I took the verse, because it felt like he does describe a lot of the same kind of things as to why people commit crime, but it's definitely from a position of I have to interfere and stop this shit.
Yeah.
I got this whole like the cop is doing what cop has to do. Drug dealer is doing what drug dealer needs to do. Cop is following the rules, protecting society. Drug dealer's trying to survive. And when you look at them, you're like, oh, they're different. But when you really look... Yeah, in the first verse. That's how
for me, it was like all from the perspective of the cop, and you're right. Everything you're saying is right.
I'm going to admit it. I could have made the mistake that I didn't understand that.
Analyzing it, because it's more like the cop, you're right, this is what the cop has to do, and hey, let's take a second and look at what the cop has to do.
My point that I'm trying to make is that I think in the first verse, and it's easier to also talk about the second verse too.
The second verse has nothing to do with the first verse.
But it has to do with my point. He's trying to just bring to light both sides that they all look the same.
Yeah, but the second, but that would make sense if the second verse was about drug dealing.
No. Because the second verse he brings up a point about religion, how like.
Yeah, but the second verse is about America's intervention in the Middle East and robbing resources and how that kind of looks like drug dealing and pimping. Has nothing at all to do with the first verse.
Doesn't that legitimately answer like basically try to say what I'm saying?
Because the first verse is about story 1, and the second verse is about story 2. And I'm
gonna just say my point, and then we can debate this. Everyone thinks that everyone else is doing something different when, strangely enough, we're all doing the same thing. That's what I took from this.
I would say that it's more that.
Well, I mean, I think that it's cyclical. That they're saying that like this is like the strange ways that everything's working now.
Yeah, but that doesn't. This song's not about the criminal's perspective. It's about, hey, look, the cops are doing this and they're obstructing the criminals from doing this. But then, hey, look, America, you're doing that in the Middle East. Exactly that thing that you're condemning people for doing.
I get it.
So I don't agree with your assessment of the track, no offense, but I also don't think you're completely far off the point. Because that second verse is super fucking clear. I mean, it starts off with they pray 4 times a day, or they pray 5. Whose ways are strange when it's time to survive. Some will go off on their own free will to die. Others take them out when they blow you high sky. Like, they're more like terrorism and shit, right?
Yeah.
And then America goes into those places, takes the resources, and then it flips it back. But hey, look, kind of looks like you're a bunch of drug dealers and pimps in the way you're handling this situation. And so I took it from that. But that first verse to me, I thought was truly striking because it really was, like, from what I at least saw, the perspective of a cop and how he has to think about these criminals. And then to flip it into, but America's a criminal.
I think that it's also that he's, like, the cop, or whatever, is is just doing his job, and he's just like, whatever, this is what I've got to do, and like he's kind of heartless. Like he's not really like taking into like the fact that these, you know, in the same way, you know, that in what was happening in the second verse is that, like, you know, it's kind of like, okay, the cop is going in and doing this and he's killing people and whatever.
I feel like the cop has all the compassion.
No, I don't think so. I think that he's doing this and and that he's got to like, he's got to get in and like he's got to like, you know, shoot these people and get rid of them and whatever, and he doesn't care about like what happens to the rest of them.
To kill the people.
And that yes, I know that he doesn't have to kill the people. We all know. But like that's what I mean, that they're leaving like these families and stuff broken behind and whatever in the ghetto or whatever.
He feels like bad for it.
Yes. And so I don't know. I didn't understand that he was feeling bad. Like he's
sitting there stressing about the fact that he has to go do this shit because it's messed up, and there's the risk to himself and the actual, like, he feels bad that these are. So the part where he's describing their desperate conditions is his compassion, and he's like, I'm empathizing with who he has to go at. That's how I saw it. And anyway, it flips into like America.
Yes, exactly.
And, blah, blah,
and
blah.
then like, you know, exactly, like they're going in and dropping bombs on these people who, you know, yeah, some of them are bad, but you know, the majority of them are innocent, and that they pray all this time and that they do all this, and you know, and innocent bystanders and citizens are being killed. So for me, like, it's the same sort of thing where it's like, okay, there's a couple of bad guys, and then you just kind of take care of it, and then it affects a whole bunch of other people that it's not good. I think that's just what he's comparing it to in like the ghettos or whatever that's happening, that, you know, the cops are going in and dropping bombs or shooting someone or whatever, and it's, you know, like there's a ripple effect. That's it.
Sure, I guess. I don't agree. That's fine. What did you give it? I gave this a 4.5. I thought it was pretty fucking interesting.
I gave it a 3.5.
Give it a 4.5.
All right, so next one is Fancy Clown.
You was poison like BBD first cassette, and still I put my chips on the worst bet. Gave up.
So apparently Viktor Vaughn is Doom, but in another
it's another alias of his.
Yeah, and
I think he may have been on on Food as well.
Maybe. And then the first verse is he like falls for a girl, his buddies and stuff tell him that he shouldn't, and this, that, the next thing. It's got classic lyrics like, and if you spoke soft, we could still preserve the friendship. Now you apologize. Well, that's what they all say. You wasn't sorry when you sucked him off in the hallway. You have it your way, raw, no foreplay. Other ones like, gave up the skirt. Now I got to hear it from the street. How dare you drag my name in the dirt and cheat?
Heard
and then the second
grapevine.
verse is just straight up him trying to make her jealous by talking about like all the people he fucked at. Like,
well, like he made out or whatever, had sex with like her friend.
I think he went after her mom at one
point.
I
like how he plays he has that double persona in this. There's two sides to Doom, as what I got from this. He's the bad guy. He's the villain. He'll kill you, bury you, like sleep with your mother and all that other stuff. But in the first verse, he's also got, you know, feelings, and he's also normal. And I like how he plays this.
But just to interject, it's not Doom. He separated the character and introduced another character onto the album.
And the other character
is Vince. This is all from Viktor
Vaughn.
So none of this would, like, I mean, I get what you're saying is in maybe the person of Doom, but I think it's worth establishing that it's just under a new alias he's introducing these characters.
I understand that it's under the new alias.
But I was saying it for those people.
Okay, fair. Part of the new alias is the emotional side of Doom is what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. And I like how he went, guys feel like this, but guys also feel like this.
Well, I mean, it's basically a reaction song. So
well, it's sort of like a phone call that he's on the phone with this girl, and he's like, "Listen, bitch, like this is what I've heard. You know, I heard it through the grapevine. Like I really wanted to like you. You know, like everybody was like, you know, giving me warnings about you, and like you just came in and you did this and da 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 da." And he's like, "Whatever. I slept with your girlfriend. You know, like." You know, I don't know.
Sounds like he's lying and he's making this shit up just to make her mad.
Just to spite her.
But like, I like how he splits the verses. So you got verse 1 where he finds out, and verse 2 where he gets mad and reacts. And I just think it's well put together. I do picture it now like a phone call. That you said that has another fun fan made video that we started watching before we realized there were fan made.
A little odd, the fan made one though.
I gave this one a 4.
Yep, I was looking at a 4.
I do like the fact that he has a lot of aliases and can keep them all separate and stuff.
I think it's interesting. I don't know, like, He's an interesting guy. He's very like hard to like pinpoint.
Listen, Ghostface Killer's got aliases. They all got aliases. I think this dude had some inspiration from this woo world. That's all I'm trying to say.
I gave this a 4.5 on 5. I think that the message and the way he created this song was really, like, the way that the song was created was really, really great. The beat isn't very boring. It's just because, like, at this point in the album, I'm kind of just like, okay, the beats are starting to sound a little bit similar. But it's okay. So,
Anyway.
All right.
So next up is I. As in, like, I. Most of you watching this know, and maybe the 6 of you who aren't MFDOOM fans don't, he likes to put a girl song on the second half of all his albums. By girl, he said something like feminine. He had one on MFDOOM, I think, Food, I think it was Guinness's was the track. I saw it on Genius, that's how it was fresh in my mind. And then, so this is
here
just...
we have Sacy Epps.
And she just basically takes you higher with the music. And by
It's
higher,
basically a song that
we're
you
talking
can...
about THC and marijuana. You know, that stuff that they described in America's Most Blunted.
Really?
And literally, it's kind of like the music takes you higher, but secretly toked as shit, because that's what this song's for.
But,
Oh.
I mean, I thought, because she says I a lot in this song, and, like, it is to get high, and I think that she's in love with a guy, you know, when she's talking about his eyes.
Yes, of course.
And you can only see MFDOOM's eyes in his mask, so it's clearly about him.
Well, that part's all true.
I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just making it up.
The high part, because it sounded like it was a... There's a certain sound to stoner songs.
Yeah.
And it had it.
Okay. As everybody who watches this show may know, I like to connect songs and albums together and a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. They had a fight. She cheated on him. He tried to make up lies and cheat on her. And now they've calmed down, decided to smoke, and realized that when they look in each other's eyes, they find love and that they need to get over this.
Yeah, that's maybe true.
That's
maybe.
basically,
I
don't know, the follow-up, I was just like, oh, so y'all had your fight and now you're okay.
I totally don't agree, but that's because I think this woman's in love with Doom, and that was Viktor, Vaughn, another guy. Anyway, maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe. I like this track. It was nice. It was a pleasant little break again. I give it another 4. It didn't do a lot for me. It was just pleasant.
I give it a 3.
3.5.
All right, let's talk about that Supervillain Theme. Oh, Bonnie's a dinosaur, and this is a fantastic
theme song
music. What do you guys think? Is this not the theme song to Bonnie eating? Anyway, this is a great fucking song. It's my favorite instrumental on the album. Like, for real, it's a straight 5. It's definitely the theme song to Supervillains. You can picture them cruising up to some nefarious antics to this music.
Yes, I mean, I get that it's like their song.
But on top of that, it's hype as fuck, and you could just roll that beat and just vibe
You know how like they have fun throughout the album?
Mm-hmm.
This gave me this whole like Despicable Me feel. Like I see Gru jamming to like kind of driving through the city doing his little freeze ray antics with this.
So nefarious deeds. Anyway.
I'm just giving him visual content, Holden. Visual.
Nefarious. I didn't like it. It was bad.
Well, it's another
2 and 5.
I did give it a 2.5. Like, it's again, like, I get that it's like their song.
It's hype.
And, like, it's not hype.
It's hype. Bonnie.
It's just like do
you guys think it's hype? Let Bonnie know if it's hype.
In the comments.
It's definitely not hype.
I have one more, by the way.
Bonnie's a visitor to hip hop. Comment.
For me, anyways, it was just like, I get that like superheroes have themes, and so like they're supervillains, and this is their theme. No, I was like trying to like imagine like them like getting up to no good, but like it wasn't even like that. Anyway,
yeah,
I couldn't
nefarious.
do it. It wasn't. It was not nefarious.
I say 5 on 5 with all fucking caps.
I say 4.5.
The beat is so butter. Peep the slow cutter as he utter the calm flow. Don't talk.
More awesome beats, more awesome rhyming, and just remember all caps when you spell the man name.
Yeah,
right?
MFDOOM, because he even says it's like, it's all capitals in comic books. Like everything that's written is just all caps.
And so. Anyway, I dig the track. I dig how he comes at it. It's a lot more of he's dope. A little bit more of that shit.
Damn.
I don't have a lot to like really add to this. I was enthralled with the beat a lot. Actually, it's kind of got this cool TV-ish loop. I like the outro part where it feels like the credits are starting to roll a little bit on like the way the song ends, and then like I guess how I kind of pictured like it was like an end scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's sick. It is what it is. It's another great track on this album. I don't have a lot. Like, there was nothing new that stuck out of me that hasn't already been said yet over the course of the last hour and a bit that we've been talking about this. So, I'm just going to quickly call this a 4.5. This is a sick track. If you're into this style, it's a sick track.
I give this one a 3.5. I thought his flow was good. I like that, like, there was, like, that, like, pop at the end, where, like, he's trying to show that, like, he does his own thing, he leaves his mark, and he does the unexpected. He doesn't do what everybody else is doing. He's not going mainstream. Like, he's just like, this is what I do, and I don't really care about selling out or any of that other crap. Like, I'm just going to keep doing this, and if you don't like it, whatever, he doesn't care. And so, yeah, 3.5.
I didn't get the reference to all caps as in all capital letters. I've been playing Fallout a lot lately, so...
Oh, yeah. Caps.
Caps is the money currency.
It was definitely letters.
So he did make a high-stakes poker rap game reference, and I was like, this is pretty cool, because throughout the entire song, I thought he was, like, doing this, like, rap poker game. No, it's not about that. It's just me and the caps is the currency. I was like, you're calling caps like chips, like you're playing poker and you're in this rap game. And you have to take chances and risks because you got to make it to the top and you got to play all these. You got to have a poker face on. So I took it all as in like all caps is all chips, like chips or nothing, you know, like all in or nothing like that.
Yeah, I just listened to that one line and said, oh, that's where he got the title from. Because often you'll hear that one line and go, that's how he named this song. And it's usually not that
Maybe
much.
he also didn't want like people to spell it like MF and like just a capital D and O.
I'm
like,
certain
he wants
that
it to
he
be
has
like
to deal with that a lot.
All caps, like MFDOOM.
Anyway, what'd you give it?
Gave it a 4 out of 5.
And you, just so we don't forget you?
3.5.
Awesome. Great day, everyone. Great fucking day.
It's just the way the cookie tear. Prepare to get hurt and mangled like Kurt Angle. Rookie year. The rock.
Jazzy one.
So, yeah, it's smooth, jazzy. Like everything, like I don't have a lot to add here. I like the fact that it's very stream of consciousness. It just kind of is like you're going through his head. He's kind of observing. Just
he has such smart rhymes.
This is good. This is for me good day. Today was a good day from Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
He basically
better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that.
Ice Cube's today was a good day. Describes a very boring day.
No, it's a good day in the hood. It means nobody got killed.
But like to tell you the truth, it's funny because Doom is appreciating all the little wins that he has in his life.
Yeah. No, and it's good. And I appreciate that. And it's a smooth beat. It's just that, again, there's very little in this track that after, like, look, we're at track 21 on this album. We've said a whole bunch.
But it's only, I mean, in total, the whole album is 45 minutes. So it's not like it's like
so it's
like
very
a drag
short,
on.
And it's not like these songs are deep concepts. It's a lot of the same kind of rhyme patterns. Not same
and, like,
rhymes
he does it again
like,
in this song where he, like, skips over, like, the bitches, you know? And, like, this is where he, like... He just doesn't want to be like that guy who's like calling them bitches, I guess.
It's
and so
pretty,
he just goes
like,
into it.
It's just that it's equally great. It's hard to like find flaw in almost any of these tracks, but it's also hard to like pick out a lot more to add to it that I haven't said before.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming to the end, and I'm gonna give this another 4.5 because it's consistently as good as the last one.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 on 5. I thought it was, good. Like, good job, MFDOOM.
Yep, 4 on 5.
All right, there's one more. Sorry.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
And sorry if we got a little lazy.
Let go his dick if that's the case. Rats with a waist. There's more cats to chase.
So this one is interesting because it kind of feels like the encore of a show.
Well, there's like clapping you can kind of hear in the background.
From what I understand, they had already recorded the rest of the album, and the label was like, you have to go make a proper ending to your album, and then they came back with this one. And it almost feels like it was meant to be the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it starts with, hold the cold one like he's an old gun, like he hold the microphone and stole the show for fun or a foe for ransom, flows is handsome or owes in tandem, anthem, random, tantrum. It's just like he stopped using the words between words and he's still making it work. It's fucking great. I mean, again, it's a lot of the same shit. A lot of the same feel. I like how in the second verse, as he starts rapping, like he tries to tell the audience to shut up and they just ignore him, and he has to like rap over them for like half a verse before the audience kind of like settles down for a minute. Yeah. That was particularly noteworthy and interesting. I don't like the beat as much otherwise. It's kind of like it's got a good effect. It's like it's got a cool effect, but at the same time it takes away from the pleasure of listening to it.
God, that sound is so irritating.
I can't see myself going back to this song per se. But this is one of those albums where you can listen to the whole thing throughout one shot, so I wouldn't skip it either. I give this a 4, and it is definitely a cool way to close this out.
Yeah, I ended up giving this one a 4.5 out of 5. I like this one. I thought it was interesting. There's a lot kind of going on in it. It is the longest one. This is the one that's only 4 minutes long, and it's like, you know, the longest. There's one line that I liked personally, and it was, got more soul than a sock with a hole. And I like that. I think that I was like, it caught my eye, that one. And I was like, I like this one. It has a good one. And so he talks about having to like wear like the mask because the girls want him to like have sex with the mask on.
And he likes that.
And he likes that. I guess it's like a chance for him to be like his alter ego and like to like kind of play it up
him
and
to
like
be a little agoraphobic.
What does that mean?
Like he's afraid of, he doesn't like being around people or outside and stuff, so
that's true.
Lets him hide. Like Future said, mask on. Fuck it. Mask
yeah.
on.
Percocets.
Oh Lord.
Nobody said that. Don't get his fucking flag. All of a sudden the video's going good. Ad Robot finds that line. Done.
Anyways, so I liked how it ended again with like the old timey like villain gangster stuff that was happening at the end, and that they're like. They're the fuel of like nightmares to come, like what they are, and I think that it's interesting. I thought it was a great outro,
and it ties right back into the way it started, and I think that's what it was. That's what was needed to close the album, and that was cool. Again, I gave this a 4. It's not my favorite track on the album, but it's definitely a great ending to the album.
Yeah,
I gave this track a 4 out of 5 as well. I really like the ending, how they set it up to like close off the episode. Throughout the entire album, close off the episode, but also leave that little, like, maybe there's a continuation, maybe there's an episode 2, maybe there's another movie, whatever you want to consider it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Cool.
Okay. So, I liked this album a lot more than I liked Food. I give this a 4.39. I think it's a fucking classic and a half. I actually understand why it is. Like, I'm going to listen to more of this. Like, he's definitely not the kind of... Like, this isn't the sound I'm putting on a regular day. But there is definitely a time and a place for when you want to get all pensive and listen to some deep-ass shit. And this might be some of the nicest deep-ass shit I've come across for a while.
This isn't that deep, but, I mean...
Well, I mean...
It's not mob deep.
No, but, the way the words the guy uses... Like, he's the kind of rapper that would use a word like juxtapose. You know? Like, and that's cool to me. Is that you never know what you're going to get from him.
He's a smart rapper.
In terms of the specific language, and it appeals to me. It was well made, well thought out, and like there's such attention to detail that there wasn't really a lot of flaw on this album per se, and it was more preference of beats that were my issue.
Okay. Everybody knows that I'm like the harshest grader. I ended up giving it a 3.54, but that's only because like it was a very mixed album for me. Like there was a lot of songs that were great, and then there was a lot of songs that were kind of like meh, and like it was very like up and down. Like the ratings weren't consistent. Like it wasn't like okay, they're all gonna be like 4s or whatever. Like it was very like, anyways, like I said, up and down. But I liked it. I thought it was interesting. It is definitely the kind of album that you can kind of sit and listen to it like the whole way through, and just kind of be like, what are we listening to? Like, you know, if somebody's just like putting that on and it's just random. But I think I don't know. I like it. It's cool. It's no classic, but it's cool.
I gave the album a 4.1.
I was walking through the woods and...
No, not this time. Not this time.
The Madvillain showed up and tried to attack me, so I had to take off 2 whole...
Please continue. I'm actually enjoying this because I would take off 2 points if he came and tried to do whatever it is going to continue doing.
And
then he took the broomstick and it fit right up in your asshole with no Vaseline.
And there's the 2 points lost, my friend. There's the 2 points lost.
Dinner with the president.
Got weird. Okay. What did you end up giving it?
I give it a 4.1 on 5. It is a classic album. I wish that I wish that maybe I understood it a little more. I am definitely going to go back and re-listen to this and pick it apart so that I can completely understand and fully grasp who MFDOOM is.
Alright, that's cool. So thank everyone for watching.
Yes,
Please be
thank
nice
you.
to us. Please. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like the channel and want to see more requests and more videos, see, we did it. A lot of you requested it. We did this. It takes time. Doing one of these a week. That's 52 in total a year. Anyway, that means like it, subscribe, comment, tell us all the fun stuff. Tell us what you loved and hated.
Tell us more facts.
And we'll see you next week with, well, let's say if Shady does what we all think he's going to do, we're going to be talking about Shady next week.
Hell yes.